You're experiencing the latest in on-the-water action and current information. This is the Southwest Outdoors Report, powered by Chevy Silverado, the official truck of the outdoors.
Hi everybody, if you've been with us since the beginning of this 2011 season, you know that we began the season talking about the white bass spawning run up creeks and rivers around our region. That happened first. That was followed closely by the largemouth bass spawning activity, which is at its peak right now across our four-state region. And that activity will begin to decline over the next few weeks. What we've not talked about so far is the next species to spawn in our region. That's the crappie. Crappie are just beginning their pre-spawn activity right now in all four states in our region. And on today's show, we'll give you tips, tactics, and locations where you can go out this weekend and catch a good mess of filleting-sized crappie. And while I'm demonstrating that, we're taking you around the region for your very latest fishing reports. Louisiana with Cajun Phil and Kevin, Oklahoma with Gary Dallahan, Texas Freshwater with Brian Hughes and Bill Olson along the Texas Gulf Coast. Also, I'll have your Lawrence Hot Lake of the Week, your Ask the Pro, expert answers to your fishing questions. We'll have your Big Catch of the Week, Big Fish photos, and the Academy Right Stuff. Now, for our crappie fishing demonstration purposes on today's show, I'd like to welcome you in to Lake Bridgeport. It's a good crappie fishing lake located in Wise County in northwest Texas. We'll use it to demonstrate how to find and catch these crappie. But don't get so focused on this lake that you lose sight of the fact that you can duplicate these techniques at your favorite fishing hole anywhere in our region. Right now, we take you back to the FSN studios. Here's your Chevy Weekend Planner.
Hi everybody, it looks like the mornings are going to be your best bet for fishing during the daylight hours this weekend. Peak times will begin a little bit after 9 a.m. on Saturday and also around 10 a.m. on Sunday. The sun will rise at 6:57 and set at 7:58, and we'll have a full moon on Sunday. And I also want to let you folks down in the San Antonio area know that there is a Chevy Kid Fish event this Saturday in Pleasanton. Visit southwestouttdoorsreport.com for event details and the exact location. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll be right back with a fishing report from Oklahoma. Plus, we've got all the latest updates from around the Southwest. Stay with us.
The Southwest Outdoors Report, powered by Chevy, is brought to you by Chevy Silverado, the official truck of the outdoors. Buy quality award-winning Tracker boats. Fish the finest. Lawrence, maker of the HDS, high-definition system. And Academy, right stuff, low price, every day.
Always pulling my bobber down. Got him. Right off a little rock ledge there. Come up, darling. Oh, good crappie. Come in here, darling. Just lift him in like that. All right. There's a good start, everybody. Hey, welcome back to the show. Glad you're along with us today. I get really excited when that starts happening. There's just a good average size, looks like a female fat pre-spawn crappie. And let's begin by telling you where to find these fish. You can see right here behind me. In fact, we can pull back a little wider. See that I'm in a cove. You want to find little creeks, ditches, pockets, and coves off the main lake if you can. Those are the areas that crappie will seek when they begin to move shallow and find a place to make nest to begin to lay their eggs. So get off the main lake, off the main channel, push back in the little creeks and coves. Depth-wise, you want to find somewhere between about 2 and 5 feet of water. That's the magic depth for pre-spawn crappie. They'll actually make their beds in just a couple of feet, but right now at the beginning of the spawn, 2 to 5 is the magic depth. Okay, let's move along right now and check in with the Sooner.
Well, we've got all the signs here in Oklahoma that the spring fishing should be in full force. We've got the dogwoods, the redbuds, the azaleas, they're all blooming right now, and we've got that good south wind that's usually a good fishing wind. And you don't have to fish the big lakes in Oklahoma to catch good fish and lots of them. If you don't know where you can go close to the house, go to wildlifedepartment.com, click on the Oklahoma Water Atlas. You'll find a really nice listing with complete details of water size, how to get there, and places to fish. I did run into Paul Dodd the other day who was doing exactly that. He was fishing a small body of water using live minnows below a bobber and catching crappie, and he caught some really nice ones. You can be doing that same thing in many places across the state right now as they are coming to the banks. Put that thing around some type of cover. Talking the last couple of weeks about the walleye fishing at Canton Lake really having picked up after sundown. Hunter McDonald caught a new lake record there, 9.5 pounds on April 1st. Lake record program is really a cool one. If you're not familiar with it, go to wildlifedepartment.com, check it out. It shows you how to qualify, what you need to do to weigh that fish officially and get it turned in. Dr. Todd Huckabee on Lake Eufaula, he says the crappie fishing there is kind of spotty. It's not as good as it has been the last couple of years this time of year. He attributes a lot of that to the water being down and much clearer than normal. He says he's still catching a lot of really good ones though, and catching them extremely shallow. One thing about it, you can't catch them if you don't go.
Recently, one of our viewers sent us a comment on our Facebook page asking us to give a little more information on some good fishing lakes in northeastern Louisiana. So we do that on this week's Lowrance Hot Lake of the Week. It's Lake D'Arbonne, which is located just north of I-20, north of Ruston, Louisiana. Let's show it to you now on the Lowrance HDS10 with the Insight Shaded Relief Mapping option. The lake is located near Farmerville on the north shore of the lake. It's about 15,000 surface acres. It's a fairly shallow lake. Now we zoom in and switch to the Navionics Hot Maps Platinum chart to show you the maximum depth in the main lake channel is 30 to 40 feet. It's a fairly open lake with some areas of standing timber, but there are some open channels that are marked by buoys, as you can see on the Navionics chart. There is a great Louisiana State Park on the north shoreline in this area that I'm circling. There are public fishing piers and docks in the park, so you can fish without a boat here. We zoom in a little more to give you a little more detailed look at the lake. Bass fishing here is a lot like Caddo with cypress trees and knees. The lake record is a huge 15.31 pound largemouth caught in an FLW tournament in 2000. It's also an excellent crappie and brim lake in the late spring, and it is stocked with stripers and hybrid stripers. Stay with us. When we come back, we're going to Louisiana for your weekly fishing report with Cajun Phil and Kevin with Cajun Bites.
The Southwest Outdoors Report, powered by Chevy, is brought to you by Stren, the standard of dependability, by Jean LaRue Lures and Bobby Garland Baits, quality soft plastic baits made in Oklahoma with American pride, Chevy Silverado, the official truck of the outdoors, and Mercury Marine.
Bobber's going down, got him. Be a crappie, be a crappie. There he comes, good one. Good crappie, good crappie. Oh, big one. Big one right there, let's go. Oh, I got him. Oh man, don't you get off now. Oh, he's still fighting. Hey, welcome back everybody. Your Southwest Outdoors Report on the air today, catching some big slab crappie. We happen to be at Lake Bridgeport today, which is located in northwest Texas. But you can do this all across our region right now. In fact, I'm gonna put this one in the live well. We're gonna keep a few crappie today. Gonna put them in the black iron skillet and fry these babies up. Let me show you where these crappie like to stay and where they like to spawn this time of the year. That one came just off of a series of rocks right here. See these big boulders that are just off in the surface of the water. There are more of those a little bit further out. So you pitch up next to the shore, you drag it along, and sometimes they'll be around those rocks and boulders a little bit offshore. The other likely place is along here on the other side. You can see we've got a lot of little buckbrush hanging in the water. They'll get all along the outside edges and even right in the middle of some of the thickest part of that brush. That's where you like to use a long crappie pole and dabble that crappie jig right in the middle of that brush. That's where you can get bit. Fishing those kinds of places here in the spring, you can catch some crappie. Hey, let's go over to Louisiana. Cajun Phil and Kevin are standing by with Cajun Bites.
Hi friends, Cajun Phil here with your Fox Louisiana Fishing Report. Well, I tell you what friends, You know, each week, Captain Kevin and I, we talking about bass fishing, we talking about bluegill, chickerpin, white perch, we talk about speckled trout and redfish, but you know, here in Louisiana, we can go jug fishing for garfish or catfish, and that could be fun. Well, you look at this video, it's a couple of our friends up in Delacroix, Louisiana that went out. They had 300 jug lines to run, and this what you're seeing right here is only about 30 or 40 of the jug lines. They had one on every jug that they put out. Monster garfish, 30, 40, 50 pounds. Catfish, 20 and 30 pounds. That could be a lot of fun. The only trouble is that they carry them all home, clean them, because they were selling them for about $1.20 a pound. Pretty good way to make a living, also a lot of fun, but it's also a whole lot of work. As far as the saltwater action goes, the east side of the state right now seems to be doing much better. Delacroix, Hopedale, Venice, Louisiana, all catching lots of fish. Venice right now, they're on fire as far as offshore fishing, tuna, amberjack, just about every week. A lot of bull red showing up already at Grand Isle. So fishing on the east side of the state been really good. As far as Captain Kevin, he's on Calcasieu Lake right now. They've been struggling the last couple of weeks, but he said it's going to get a lot better. Till next time, this is Cajun Phil for Captain Kevin saying happy fishing and may God bless. We'll see you next week.
Hey, before we head to the next break, let me mention that I'm using a slip bobber rig to catch these fish today. It's the classic crappie fishing shallow rig that I always use in the springtime. We'll show it to you in detail a little later in the Academy Right Stuff feature, but right now, let me show you how I work the bait. I use a flip cast, kind of like you would use to pitch and flip for largemouth bass. I grab the bait with my left hand, let it swing away, and let it land up there in that cover. Okay, once it hits the water, I'll let it float up. You can see the bobber floats vertically with the bobber stop up against it. I'll let it sit there for maybe 5 or 10 seconds, turn the reel handle a couple of times, let it sit again for 5 or 10 seconds. If one doesn't hit it, I'll go ahead and reel it in and make another cast. And I'll just repeat that process all the way down the shoreline, all the way to the back end of each little cove and pocket. Normally, you can pick up one along the way. Stay with us. When we get back, it'll be time for your Texas freshwater fishing reports with Brian Hughes, the Lone Star Lakes, and Bill Olson on the coast.
The Southwest Outdoors Report, powered by Chevy, is brought to you by Abu Garcia for life. By Navionics. Enjoy Navionics anytime, anywhere. By Whataburger, just like you like it. And by Motor Guide Trolling Motors.
Oh, I love to bobber fish. Bobber down, got him. Pulled my bobber down, there he comes. Oh, good crappie, good crappie. That's a female right there. That's a female. Don't get off, don't get off, don't get off. Got him. All right, look at the fat belly on that little crappie. She is pregnant now. Hey, welcome back everybody. This is your Southwest Outdoors Report, pre-spawn crappie fishing. On this week's episode, they're doing this all around our region. Hey, on the Academy Right Stuff, at the end of the show, I'm gonna show you the rod, the reel, the line, the bobber, and the lure setup that I like to use anytime I'm shallow pre-spawn crappie fishing in the springtime like I'm doing today. Let me mention some of traditionally the best crappie lakes in our region. Beginning in Oklahoma, Lake Eufaula has been rated by several national magazines as one of the best crappie lakes in the entire country. Sam Rayburn in Deep East Texas is a really, really good crappie lake. Going west, Allen Henry has produced some of the biggest crappie anywhere in the state of Texas. Lake Texoma is fantastic. It's got a tremendous crappie population. On the Louisiana-Texas border, Lake Caddo is one of the best crappie lakes as well. But those aren't the only places you can catch crappie at almost any lake, river, creek, or reservoir near your house. Hey, let's move along right now. Check on the Texas Freshwater Fishing Report. Here's Brian Hughes with the Lone Star Lakes. You are going in the live well, darling.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to this week's Lone Star Lakes, brought to you by RealRecovery.org. Now, I've had some great reports on catfishing from several lakes, including Livingston, Conroe, and Little Eagle Mountain Lake just outside Fort Worth. These fish are up very shallow and they're very hungry right now. Most anglers using liver or cut bait because they're using repeated casts, and that stays on the hook a little better than most of the prepared baits. Now we get these little cold fronts, and that may shift the fish out of that shallow water for just a day or so. Keep that in mind when you go out and pursue the catfish on these various lakes. Now, crappie fishing has really taken off on Lake Lavon and Lake Louisville. You'll find them anywhere from 8 to 2 feet of water, depending again on the weather. You'll want to use your minnows and or crappie jigs on these fish, depending on the wind and the weather that particular day. You'll want to look for some kind of little brushy structure up there in those shallows. That's where they're looking to go because they're ready to spawn. Now keep in mind, once again, these winter fronts, if you will, are going to push these fish out just a little bit. That's this week's Lone Star Lakes, brought to you by Real Recovery. Now let's check in with Mr. Bill Olson. You'll find him on the coast.
Hi folks, Texas Outdoors Journal brings you this week's report for the very best monthly coastal and inland fishing information, plus year-round hunting tips. Check out our award-winning magazine. Pick up a copy of TOJ on newsstands or subscribe securely on the website on the screen. Well, high winds continue to rake the Texas coast. Add to that the increasing drought that's caused higher than normal salinity levels to push well up major rivers of the upper coast. And when you combine those two conditions, you have one of 3 patterns currently working. With little or no water being released out Toledo Bend and Sam Rayburn Reservoir, anglers fishing the Sabine and Neches rivers that flow into Sabine Lake are finding good specks, reds, and flounder while avoiding the wind. Look for holes and drops adjacent to shallow flats and ledges as good places to fish. Now, a similar scenario has been playing out on the Colorado River and other smaller creeks and rivers on the mid-coast. And don't forget the land cut that continues to sizzle with some quality specks moving on up through it. Now, other places to beat the strong winds is on the shallow flats of the back bays, as well as the grass flats protected by the barrier islands along the middle and lower coast. The third hot spot remains the jetties and passes. Unseasonably warm weather has the Gulf and bay waters heating up. Fish the granite rocks of the jetties and the surrounding shorelines as fish push deeper into the bays. This weekend, both Saturday and Sunday have a double tide schedule of 2 high and 2 low tides each day. I'm Bill Olson, and I'll see you on the coast.
The Southwest Outdoors Report, powered by Chevy, is brought to you by Academy. Right stuff, low price, every day. Nitro Performance Bass Boats. Fish your best in a Nitro. Costa Del Mar Sunglasses. See what's out there. And by Chevy Silverado, the official truck of the outdoors.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time now for our Ask the Pro feature. Our question this week is from Bill in Willis, Texas, who wants to know, when flipping beds, what's better, fluorocarbon or braid? For the answer, let's ask Bassmaster Elite Angler Edwin Evers of Oklahoma.
Hey, when I'm bed fishing, do I want to use braid or fluorocarbon? Initially, I'm going to make that decision when I see how that fish reacts to me being there. If that fish is hot, ready to go, I'm going to use braid. That line's not going to make any difference to that fish. It could be well roped for all that fish cares. He's mad, he's going to bite. But if I've got a fish that's really finicky, that won't stay up there on the bed, that doesn't like my line anywhere around him, I'm going to go with a lot smaller line, go with fluorocarbon, let that fish calm down. You're going to end up being able to catch that fish a lot quicker. So let that fish determine or tell you which line you can use.
Thanks, Edwin. If you have a question for one of the pros, just visit our website at southwestoutdoorsreport.com, click on the Ask the Pro link, and send us your information. Now let's get you over to Barry for the Whataburger Big Catch of the Week.
Congratulations this week on the Big Catch of the Week goes to Tanner Morris of Lockney, Texas. He is shown here with a 21-pound yellow catfish. We don't see many of those on our Big Catch photos, but here's one. It came out of McKenzie Lake, which is located in the Texas Panhandle, not too far from Tulia. If you'd like to enter our contest and have a chance to have your big fish photo seen on our show, just go to the website at southwestoutdoorsreport.com. Top right of the front page is the sign-in area. You'll need to sign up to become a member of our fan club. It is free. you'll have access to the members only area, including a place to submit your big fish photo. On this week's Academy Right Stuff feature, let's talk about the setup you'll need to catch these springtime crappie. You can do it lots of ways. A lot of folks like to use a long pole, 10, 12 feet long. I like to use a little ultralight rig. It consists of about a 6-foot Fenwick HMX rod with a lot of flex in the tip, but some body, some backbone right here in the lower butt end of the rod. I use light line, Stren Original 8-pound test on a little Abu Garcia Soren spinning reel. Now, here's the key. The setup begins with a little bead. There are lots of bobber stops out on the market. You can find those at Academy. Several different styles. I like to use a little red bead. You go through it, turn it around, go through it again, and you can slide it up and down your line to adjust your depth. About 1.5 feet or 2 feet below is a slip bobber that actually slides up and down the line. And then underneath that, I like to use a little Bobby Garland Mo-Glo jig head tipped with a slab slayer or a baby shad Bobby Garland plastic crappie body. Don't lose sight of the fact that you can catch these most likely someplace within a half hour to an hour of where you live. Thanks for joining us on this week's show. We'll see you next week at 10:30 Thursday night. No conflicts with the show next Thursday night, so we'll be on in our normal time, and Saturday morning at 8 o'clock. Don't forget, you can always get the latest on our airtime. Front page of our website, southwestoutdoorsreport.com. The latest showtime is always there, and you can watch the latest episode of our show on the front page as well, all week long the following week, and you can watch archived back copies of our past episodes on our YouTube channel at youtube.com. Check us out. We'll see you next week. Until then, I'm Barry Stokes. Be safe. Have fun. Bye-bye, y'all.